story I never thought I would share. It's strange how life can hand you a secret so heavy, so strange, that it feels like it would swallow you whole. I never thought I'd share this story, partly because I feared no one would believe me, and partly because I wasn't sure if I believed it myself. But I stayed, and now I feel it's time. It all began 12 years ago, on a summer evening that felt different. The air was thick, the kind of thick that makes you feel like you're being watched. I was staying at my grandparents' old house, a remote, creaky leak of a home with whispers in the wind and floorboards that seemed alive at night. Charming by day, but at night it felt like the walls were holding on to secrets so heavy to let go. That night I couldn't sleep. The heat was unbearable, and the faint sound of crickets was more maddening than soothing. I lay there staring at the ceiling. I heard it tapping at my bedroom window. My heart raced. I lay there staring at the ceiling. I heard it, a faint tapping at my bedroom window. My heart raced. We were on a second floor. There were no trees nearby, no easy explanation for the sound. My first thought was the wind, but as I listened, the tapping became rhythmic and deliberate. Each one more unsettling than the last. Gathering what little courage I had, and peeked out from behind the curtain. Nothing, just darkness and the faint outline of the yard below. I tiptoed to the window and I let out a shaky breath and turned away. But just as I did, I saw it, a shadow, fleeting and unnatural, moving across the yard. It wasn't human, at least not entirely. I stood there, rooted in place, torn between fear and curiosity. Finally, I whispered, "Who's there?" The silence that followed was deafening, but then, as if carried on the breeze, I heard it. "Not yet." The worst chilled me to my core. I spent the rest of the night sitting upright in bed, the blanket clutched to my chest like a shield. When morning came, I convinced myself it had been a dream, a trick of the mind brought on by exhaustion. By dawn, I knew better. In the days that followed, things only got stranger. Objects in my room seemed to move on their own, small, subtle shifts that could be dismissed as forgetfulness but felt intentional. Whispers, faint and indistinct, seemed out of reach. One day, while exploring the attic, I stumbled upon something that made my blood run cold. An old notebook hidden under a loose floorboard. Its pages were filled with symbols, cryptic, unfamiliar, yet oddly compelling. They felt like a message, but one I couldn't decipher. I spent weeks trying to make sense of it all. The symbols, the whispers, the shadow, it seemed to follow me through the house. It felt like a puzzle, each piece more confusing than the last. And then, one day, it all came to a head. Following the clues from the notebook, I found myself standing before an old, abandoned barn at the edge of the property. The place I always avoided as a child. Its weathered wood and rusted hinges stood, but something compelled me to step inside. The air inside was stale, heavy with the weight of the years gone by. As my eyes adjusted to the dim light, I saw them. Photographs, thousands of them, pinned to the wall. They were of me, at least they looked like me. The unsettling part was that I didn't remember taking them. Some showed me as a child, playing in the yard or sitting at the kitchen table. Others were more recent, from the past few weeks, capturing moments I thought I'd spent alone. I felt a wave of nausea and stumbled backward, my mind is reeling. Who had taken these photos, and why? As I turned to leave, something caught my eye. A, mi- a mirror leaning against the far wall. In it, I saw my reflection, but it wasn't me. It was someone or something else. It smiled, a cold, knowing smile, and whispered the same words. Not yet. I don't remember how I got out of that barn and how I made it back to my house. The next thing I knew, it was morning, and I was lying in bed, the notebook clutched in my hands. I tried to tell myself it wasn't real, that it was all a bad dream, but deep down, I knew the truth. 12 years ago, I left my grandparents' house shortly after that and haven't been back since. The notebook disappeared, and I've done my best to move on, but sometimes, late at night, I hear it again. The faint, deliberate tapping, and I wonder if the shadow is still out there, waiting for the right moment to reveal the rest. This is the story I thought I'd never share. Believe it or not, it's yours to decide. Know one thing for certain. Some secrets don't stay buried. They linger, waiting for the right time, waiting for you. What would you do if you were me in that story? Tell me in the comments below.